Phantom, 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 phantom,
Afternoon, everybody. I'm Sahope the First. Welcome to the very first episode of Sahope on Cars. So, as everybody knows, I've been following spinning for, I think, since the early 2000s. I've been to as many events as I can imagine. And I think as time went on, I started feeling a bit tired of going to events and whatnot. Started watching events on a digital platform. And this is where I came across the guy that I'm sitting with today, Mr. Tapiwa Muza. So Tapiwa basically runs a page called Burnout Mzansi, the page that a lot of people follow, the page that is responsible for delivering a lot of footage in South African spinning to the world. So we've had so many spinners exposed to the outside world thanks to this gentleman's efforts. Yeah, so he does a lot of video coverage, especially for Facebook, right? Tapiwa comes from a drifting background.
This is where I started.
Yeah, so the first time I came across your page, you were doing technique studies on drifting, right? Yeah, and you introduced us to quite a lot of Japanese drifters. I didn't understand how this gentleman from Africa is so well known in Japan. Like you've got so many drifters
So
that
many
follow your
countries.
pages. Tell me about that.
Oh, basically, okay. So basically, what I do on the drifting side, I teach. Should I start from the beginning, right?
Yeah. How you got into it? How you
I
got into it?
drifting? Okay.
Yeah.
How I got into drifting was this. I was always fascinated by cars in general. Like even as a growing boy, we all played Need for Speed. We all played games. We
Yeah.
all played that. I was just very competitive compared to the other guys.
Alright.
So specifically related to
Should I
drifting.
challenge you to a game there?
The game
Yeah.
might be rusty, but I can still take you on.
All right. Carry on.
So it's basically related to drifting. It started when drifting always fascinated me. I tried to drift in all those arcade games, like Need for Speed.
Yeah.
Need for Speed is not a simulator.
Yeah.
It's a different thing from the simulators, the ones that are coming out these
so you
days.
don't get that real feel.
The real feel, yes. So just mouse, just keyboard actually, keyboard and joystick. But I just wanted to drift in every single corner. So a friend of mine in 6th grade, I think I was 11 years old, in 2012, he gave me this magazine. You know these PC magazines that come,
Yeah.
it's like, it wasn't Speed and Sound, but as a PC magazine.
Yeah, I think I remember it was PC something. I'll get the name.
It specifically came with this DVD, with this game called Live. Not Need, but Live for Speed.
Oh yeah.
It's a simulator for drifting.
Oh sweet.
So when I go in the simulator, I tried to drift. I couldn't do anything. It's a simulator. It's no longer
It's
just
a lot
tap
more
the brake.
difficult there.
Exactly. I wasn't just tapping the brake to drift anymore. So it's just difficult. So through that, I had to research about drifting. So in the research is when I fell in love with drifting.
All right.
It was so fascinating because it looks normal. It's normal people. Just like spinning, just think,
Yeah. So you know, with us, I don't know what year is this when this happens for you.
2012.
2012.
Yes.
I'll take you back to odd 2005, 6. No, 4, 5, 6, somewhere there. I'm not sure when.
I was 3 years
When
old.
Tokyo Drift came out, right?
Yes.
So I'm with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Kalo, back in high school, and Tokyo Drift comes out.
Oh, you're in high school?
Yeah, Tokyo Drift comes out. Yeah, don't expose my age. Tokyo Drift comes out. And I remember on that day we specifically planned it because we got on the pirate copy of the DVD. We specifically planned it that, listen, we're going to take the Hilux. So we had a Hips Hilux. We're going to take the Hilux and we're going to try this shit out because we've all watched, drifting. And we're fascinated by
It's different,
by Fast and Furious Tokyo
Yeah.
Drift. So needless to say, we went out, we tried our thing, and
Was it good or bad?
it was good. It was good. Look, we did good donuts. Yeah, we did very good donuts. The drifting through stuff was a lot more difficult. So back in the days, we'd go to like a football pitch, like those football pitches in the hood that are like gravel.
Gravel, yes.
Get there with the Hilux, you play around, you have fun. That went exceptionally well. Like that went crazy.
That was the level one now.
Then now the difficult part is getting on a gravel road and trying the corners out. All right. I remember,
You guys are pushing your life.
yeah, we were pushing our like first day. We did a bit too much for the first day, but I remember we ended up bumping the bakkie. But it wasn't like a bad bump. It was a bumper. We hit, one of those concrete things when they put in the ground to show like where the next post office is. It's like an old school thing. A lot of young kids wouldn't understand, but
Unfortunately, I fall victim to that.
yeah. So we bumped one of those things, and we had to go home now and start explaining what happened. We basically, I think we told them we were trying to avoid hitting a dog or something. But yeah, that's how we got into drifting.
Yeah.
So now tell me, how do you then get recognition from the outside world? I mean, because you hail from Soshanguve, right?
Yes.
Soshanguve drifting to Japan. Like, how do the Japanese start trusting you to tell them about drift techniques? Because the one thing I can give you is you're able to relay what goes on in a driver's mind and put it in words
Without the
That-
experience.
I don't know about without the experience. I've seen you do some stuff before, but
Once
look,
off, yeah.
So you're able to contextualize things that we as drivers just do. You know what I mean? Like, I know that when I get in order to initiate a drift, I know I can do it through weight transfer.
It's a feeling.
A lot of people don't even know that that's the word. A lot of people don't know that whole thing comes from like the Scandinavian flicks and whatnot, right? But you are able to now put that into words, put that into context, and have drifters from outside the world. How do you catch their attention? Like, I need to get into that.
In English, there's a saying, they say, deep calleth unto deep. When you see someone crying, whether you want to cry or not, you just feel weird.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
I won't lie. Yes, God's grace is one of the biggest parts. I'm Christian, by the way.
Shout out.
God's grace is one of the biggest reasons why I managed to go out. But now into the practical way.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying you pray and they understand. No. What did I do exactly? I was obsessed. Still am obsessed today.
All right.
But yeah, I was obsessed. So basically, it wasn't always easy. In my first post, there's this professional driver. His name is Luke Fink. I'm on good terms with him now.
Yeah.
But he used to come and mock my post. Like, how does someone who doesn't drive or drift have the confidence to say certain things? You know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
back then I used to just type.
It's a lot of content.
Yo, I just type and post
Yeah.
and that because I didn't really
How
make
old are you? How old are you at this point?
14.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I can't
I was
imagine
young.
going back and forth with a 14-year-old.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad, and they used to like weigh me down. But basically, to your question of how they managed to understand things was this: the simulation came into play.
Okay.
Simulation is a very very powerful tool. Simulation. There are many people I know that because they're drifting in a simulator, the first time in a car went well. I'm one of them too.
All right.
The first time in a drift car, it went exceptionally well because of
Yeah.
simulation.
Yeah, definitely.
So basically,
I mean, yeah, because in the
Yeah.
aircraft industry, they use simulation.
Yes.
Why aren't we doing the same, you know?
no, that's the thing. Simulation is a very, very important thing to get into. It's very, very important. So, how I got people to understand? Let's start when I was still 14. I watched videos. I found this driver. His name was Naoki Nakamura.
Yeah,
One of my
legend.
favorite driver. That's why my page is named after him.
Yeah.
I just connected so well with him because my favorite driver was losing a lot.
All right.
So that's why I don't watch soccer, guys. Eish, I can't handle that
heartbreak.
pain of watching your favorite driver lose. So I was losing a lot, and he was very unrelatable because he used very expensive cars. His name is Daigo Saito.
Okay.
He drifts Ferraris, Lamborghinis. He converts them to rear-wheel
hectic,
drive.
Hectic, yeah.
He does a lot of stuff. But the Naoki guy, I felt like I could relate with him because he used very cheap cars, 300 horsepower,
Yeah.
cars that cost as much as spin cars. Cars with almost
Still
nothing.
say power is not everything.
Power is not everything, guys.
If you've got skill, power is not everything.
Exactly. Don't skip the basics. Don't
Yeah.
skip the foundation. So he drift these normal cars, and I just love the way he did it, and even beat the Daigo guy
Yeah.
twice using a car with half the power.
Yeah,
It was 1,000 horsepower versus 350, and he beat the guy
I
through
think at
skill.
that time I was madly obsessed with your midnight clubs.
nightclub.
Yeah, because I mean those guys
Yeah.
were killing it. Top
Yeah.
Secret was also like
The
a huge
soundtracks
thing.
and everything.
What years? You said this is like 2013,
2013,
14,
14,
right?
Yeah.
13, 14. We basically had a Skyline R33, but RB20, right?
You guys had one.
Yeah. but RB20. And I remember
What are you guys doing then? This is
it's
a
crazy.
skyline.
It's crazy. You know,
More
this is
than
like
10
when,
years
this is
ago.
when import cars are like the thing in Botswana, right? So people are just importing whatever, whenever, like, you understand. So I remember the R33 comes around around that time, and in that moment, it is, I think, the only R33 in Mafikeng at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm now starting to get obsessed with Midnight Club. I'm starting to like really just try and understand how RB motors are. So I did have a JDM phase before I fell over into BM. I had a
BM.
JDM phase. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's cool, man. And then how did you now then transition from drifting? Because I see now you're like a very huge ambassador for media in
spinning on Facebook side
yeah,
of things.
because you're taking, I think you're taking our content to bridging it to
drifters sometimes.
drifters sometimes, because I always say to people that there's a very thin line between drifters and spinners,
It's thin.
right? It's a very thin line, and the reason why I always say to people that power should not be the central point of everything that you do is you can easily find yourself transitioning from being an excellent spinner to being a basic drifter, right? And in that you get swallowed up, you lose your identity, if I can put it like that, right? So I always love it when spinners will maintain, you know, because what made spinning unique is how we are using sub 200 horsepower cars with no angle kits, you know.
Stock
2.9
suspension.
2.9 aspirated is more than enough. The car's very predictable.
No bucket seats.
Yeah, in M20 is very, very predictable, bro. Like, you know that if you clutch, kick, switch, it does exactly what you want it to do, you know. So how do you then now transition from drifting
Side of things.
into spinning?
Okay. Yeah, so did the things in drifting, made a page, people started following, drivers got interested. One of the sponsors or like right hand men of Japanese drivers found me, and yeah, so what I was doing was just basically I was sharing videos of drifting, and I put voiceovers, etc., etc., etc. I'm just
Commentating.
backtracking. Yeah, I was commentating. I was just doing a lot of work, and because I got the support of a driver found out, called Shane Bingham, one of my favorite people, so helpful to me. He found my stuff. He helped. This is now answering the previous question. I know that I wasn't that clear. He found my stuff. He started backing me up in the comment sections, and people got my. It's like when someone legitimate approves you, people are under him will approve you, and the guy just approved me. He believed in me so much. I really respect that guy. Shout out Shane, man. Without Shane, I would not be as known and respected as I am now. So back to that question, how I got into spinning. Actually, in 2016, I was still in the drifting side. I was still in Zim. I was still in Zimbabwe, doing things. And then I always wanted to go to spinning events, but I couldn't for some reason, because I was 15. I couldn't drive to the places by myself. So I couldn't go there. For some reason, there always be something happening in the family or no one to take me there, because I'm in my whole family, no one else
It's hard
interested in
to
motorsport.
convince black parents that you know, this is what I like. I think that was our struggle as well.
Yes.
It's very hard to tell your family that, look, I love cars that go round and round.
Like, why are you wasting this
I'm
time?
not a gangster. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Alright.
Yes. So yeah, I found a video of Sunesh. You know Sunesh.
Yeah, sushi.
You know him so much. I know you
shout
know
out.
him. Sunesh was
M20 Kings.
M20. Okay. True. Sunesh was spinning in Zimbabwe, and yeah, his driving was good.
Borodale, right?
I was doing Bulawayo.
Oh, okay, all right.
I forgot the name of that race course.
I've seen that race course.
It's a very small pitch.
Yeah.
We'll probably have to show like a little clip on the video there. No problem for the viewers. So Sunesh was spinning there. I watched it. You know what fascinated me? I'm used to seeing drifting. Yes, I'm used to seeing it. But there's so much entertainment going on. Like, I felt like there's so much creativity. The creativity in spinning is more than in drifting. A lot of drifters might get mad, but there's a big creativity difference. I'm not talking about
it's
car
impromptu.
builds. Yes.
It's very impromptu. You're not given a set course on what to do, and it's up to you to like maintain the momentum throughout. You know, it's hard to look. If you give me a course, I think the hardest part for me is just memorizing and knowing that I should do this, I should do that, I should
zone,
do
inner
that.
zone,
And this
this
is how I
and this,
attack that. But then if you say to me, here's like a blank piece of paper, bro, like maintain momentum, keep everybody captivated. That for me is a lot harder.
Yeah, so I saw a video of Sunesh. It was just so exciting, the way he was entertaining people, and he was playing the sound of the car because I was obsessed with music and sound at that time. So I could hear Dictator for the first time.
Launch
I'm
control. Is he putting his foot? Because that's now my technical side from drifting. I'm like, is he? Definitely.
But his foot is not blipping. What is he doing? Because this change in sound. Is it
It
anti-lag?
sounds like a wild blip.
Because it's not anti-lag. It sounded so different. Like, what is he doing? Like, I was so fascinated. I remember I spent one night just watching videos of these guys revving cars playing the Dictator for hours and hours. It was just so fascinating to me, that sound that could just change the rev limiter, the Dictator. So I watched that, and then fast forward, I was in SA. And that was 2015. I saw Sunesh 2015, 16. I never went to a spin show until 2019. There's a guy called Tapiwa Muza. Shout out to him again. A taxi driver from our church.
Yeah.
I don't know how we started talking about spinning, because our church is near Mayhem Raceway, literally near Mayhem Raceway. We talked about spinning. He said there's a show. I'm like, huh? Really? I was so excited. Imagine, spend so much time of your life without ever going to a spin show, and then you finally get a chance to go there. I'm like,
and it's right down the road.
let me go and see. It was 2019. I think it was Austin's birthday. When Austin had this V8 that he was still drift spinning. He had glass. No,
Yeah, it was an amazing
What
show.
V8? What engine was in that V8? A silver grey one.
Oh, that's God's plan. I think one of the baddest V8s ever, man.
I won't forget
baddest V8s ever.
standing-
It's a truckload of power on that car.
I won't forget standing by those Mayhem gates, because spectators are not allowed to stand at
Yeah,
the gates.
yeah.
They still are strict,
The
but
kitchen,
we have our ways.
famous kitchen.
Yeah. So we're standing at the kitchen. They're like, open the doors. I'm like, why are you opening? But the car is still
Hey,
spinning.
man.
So this is different thing. And drifting, you're in the grandstands or what? You're just watching, and then you know what's going to happen and stuff like that. I stood there, and then I saw the gates open. I'm like, what's going on? Is the gates of heaven opening? What's going on here? And then
here
this car
comes
comes
this
with the
car.
rope pick, and it's coming towards me. I ran away. It was like, it was so exciting.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
his driving skill
Yeah.
is very aggressive,
Yeah.
extremely aggressive, and
Yeah.
I think I'll also give him a big props for being consistent, because he's been like this ever since
Young
he started
age.
spinning. So everything about him is just aggression.
Doesn't miss that guy.
Yeah. So anyway, you come to this show 2016.
It was
I mean
2019.
2019. Yeah, I
thereabout.
remember the show 2019.
Yes.
I was there. And then this is the part now where you decide, flip it. This thing I need to.
Yeah. I was interested because, note that my whole life, I had never been to a drift show until 2022. I had never seen a drift car in person and stuff, because I felt like I was the only Zimbabwean who was into drifting. I was the only person I knew who was into it. I had my phone full of drift videos. I remember I used to hide them in my phone. People would ask me weird questions. I didn't want to deal with all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with all that. A girl would take your phone. Our friend, she'd take my phone, like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, and I have to explain.
Now you have to explain why you're
Like,
addicted to this
I
thing.
started hiding. So it was my first time seeing cars sideways. I remember I walked into the Mayhem gates. You know, when you walk in, this side of the oval, and a car's coming like the drift. I froze for a second. That was my first time seeing a car sideways for my whole life.
Nice.
The first time I saw one was just an R33 doing donut is a donut, but a car in drift.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I stood like, is it coming towards me? I couldn't understand the movement. It was
And
different
I
from
think
the
at
video.
that point, you now understand cars from a very different perspective, because you've done these simulators.
Everything was behind the computer until that moment.
And now you're seeing cars that don't have all these mods
Yeah.
that you're used to, because you're used to seeing that, look, if I'm in this game, I'm going to need an angle kit. I'm gonna need
immediately.
an e-brake.
Immediately.
So, one thing I'll give spinning props for is the ability to initiate without a handbrake.
That is a big thing.
Just using weight transfer, just using pure weight transfer to initiate a drift. That is one of the hardest things to do, especially in a low-powered car.
It's very true.
Very simple to do in a 500 horsepower plus car.
Just gas it.
Yeah, but then in a low-powered car, you literally have to go against your drift, into your drift, and So spinning for us was also the same thing. We'd seen a lot of outside influences, right? Because we come now from the Tokyo Drift era. We've seen this.
Oh, so spinners used to watch drifting. How much though? I wasn't
no,
know how much they
essentially,
watch drifting.
Understand, spinning comes from like way before drift, like way before this Tokyo Drift era happens, right? If you dig back into the history of spinning. Spinning goes back to like Share World days, you know, where we've got the
that word.
greats, Bubesi and them, all of those guys doing their thing. But as much as it was happening in Soweto, it was happening in KZN, it was happening in Mafikeng, it was happening literally everywhere. There was always that one guy that had a 325 that was infamous for doing donuts. The car was infamous for that. You get. So as time went on, I'd say I jumped onto the bandwagon 2009ish. So remember, I catched Tokyo Drift then, and then around 2009ish, yes, no, 2008.
Yes.
I'm in my second year in university. I start attending a lot of spin shows. This is the time when Speed and Sound had the Speed and Sound Army.
Yes.
Sunesh and them were doing their thing. It was Sunesh.
Oh, I remember Speed and Sound.
Yeah.
Those guys were a
Then-
force.
Yeah, you
An
know.
army.
So this is the days
Yeah.
where gents used to drive their spin cars to shows very, very far away. So we come from that era, right?
Street legal cars.
So that's how difficult it was for us. This is before we started
Before it
trailering.
became a motorsport.
Yeah,
a recognized motorsport.
It was, yeah, we basically had clandestine gatherings, you know. People paid. We were starting to create like a little economy around spinning because we'd organize events. People would actually pay to come in. But RBM would have events in Sosha. People would pay to come in. And when that started happening in different hoods, people started traveling to each other's hoods to come and attend shows. You know what I mean? So if I see you spinning in Sosha, I give you a shout, I'm like, hey, listen, next weekend we are in this place. So we're going to be spinning. Don't you want to come through? I'll sort you out with fuel, blah, blah, blah. So that's how the whole economy of spinning started happening. Event organizers started jumping in, actually formalizing the events. We had guys like Monde, Pule, and them that started speaking to MSA.
Pule Sena.
No, Pule M.
Pule M.
Yeah, they started speaking to MSA
Oh, yes,
back
I've
then.
seen his name.
MSA started to recognize the sport as well as an actual motorsport.
So you're attracting a lot of attention then. How much attention were you attracting?
It's a lot. It's a lot at that time because remember, motorsport wise, I personally and look, like I said, I always say anyone can fight me on this. There's no form of motorsport that draws the crowds in the country that spinning does. Not drag racing, not drifting, not anything. The only thing that could possibly come close is if maybe Formula One came to South Africa, but that's like a once in a you know. But if you told me that drift show, we need to do 8,000, 10,000 people, it's not happening.
It's true.
It's
I've
not
seen
happening.
that.
You
I've
check.
seen
So drags, we can't do 10,000 people. So spinning is I don't want to call it a gold mine, but it's a you know, it's got good spectator value.
that. Yes.
You understand? Good spectator value. And it's also part of the reason why I feel like we've always needed to have the conversation between the new school spinners,
Yes.
the old school spinners, right? So old school spinners, we had a responsibility to legalize what spinning
What
was.
year was that? Just put the year. So that we know, then put the generations in.
I'd say anything before 2015 was still like part of a struggle. 2015ish things were starting to get formalized, but I'm saying anything before 2015, man, it was still a struggle because it's hard to get the venues that you want. Remember, we used to spin in rectangular pitches, right? After the rectangular pitches, we now need to start approaching places like Mayhem. We now need to start getting bigger because our cars are getting faster. The drivers are getting more aggressive. You can't do the 40 by 40. 40 by 40 is now a tiny pitch.
Spectator safety also.
Spectator
because
safety is a thing.
People are getting gutsy. now.
Yeah, you get. So we have that era where we are trying to legalize, formalize this thing, right? We're making it a norm. The word Spin City is becoming a thing, you know. We had guys from Kimberley, Monster Mob Raceway. They also did a lot for the game, that side. So there's a lot of places that were doing the work where parents are starting to become okay with my kids are going to Spin City. It's a safe environment, you know. Families are starting to become okay with let's all go watch spinning together on a Saturday afternoon. It's a chilled environment, right? It's a safe environment. There are no gangsters. Your car's not going to go
Yes,
missing.
because I read when I was in Zim, seeing about spinning, when I was still deep into the drifting. I still am deep, but before I knew much about spinning, spinning was always associated with gangster things, right?
Exactly. You
Criminal activity,
So
all of those
washing
getaway
that
cars.
image, washing that image
Yeah.
was a lot of work. That took a lot of time, right? So that's the old school part.
Yes.
That's the role that the old school people needed to do, right? You come now to the new school guys. New school guys are spinning insane. They're doing amazing things, you know. They are traveling abroad. It's the first time. I mean, this last year, 2023, was a huge year for spinning in South Africa because we exported some of our best talent outside the world. I mean, outside Africa, you know.
Kayla, Sam,
Oh,
Austin, Muzi, and Panjaro.
and Katra went to Aruba as well.
Aruba, yes, that was
Yeah.
after. So the 3 trips, right?
3 trips. So
Team
and we also had
yes,
Kyle
yes.
and them go up to Nigeria. Kyle and Pule went to Nigeria as well. So that kind of, you know, that exporting of the sport is a good thing. It's a huge thing. But my question now becomes, as the new school spinners, where's the direction? Like where are we headed? Because I'd ask you that question because you're responsible for doing a lot of exporting what we do
Yes.
in the digital space, right? You're taking a lot of our content, putting it out to the world. But where's the direction that you feel like young spinners need to take? Because potentially I feel like there is no sense of direction. Everybody's doing a lot in terms of the
driving.
talent, the driving, the stunts, improving the stunts, but we lack that thing, man. We lack this is what we're fighting for now, you know, which I think we should be fighting for world recognition. Because if you look at it, the United States has started having these
Side shows.
these side shows.
Yeah, I've had to go through a lot explaining
Terrible.
that spinning and side show is not the same
Terrible
thing.
driving. Terrible driving.
Side shows
Look,
have bad culture.
yeah, right. Side shows. The UK call it diffing. They've got like a little setup. It's cute. It's nice. It's very proper. You know.
And
I feel
Australians
like
have those spinners they've been doing forever now.
forever. Yeah. Australians have those smoke filled
Tests of
fists.
power.
Like you know, where 1,000, 2,000 horsepower cars are doing their thing. So my thing is, we have to take our spinners into those spaces, right? We need to take our spinners into New York City to show them what they should be doing at side shows. Take them to Australia, show them how Australia and New Zealand, show them how it's done. Take them to the UK, show them how it's done. The main thing, the reason why I say our spinners need to do it, is the same thing that we need to show the world that we're not power obsessed when it comes to our cars. We need to show the world that less than 250 horsepower, more than enough, right? If your skill is sharp, less than 250 horsepower will kill it.
Yeah, the world needs to understand that spinning is an art. When you look at it from the first glance, you know, think, it's just guys doing burnouts in stock. Like a lot of drifters, they belittle spinning because they look at the speed difference, the budget difference, and the power. They just look at spinning as something very inferior. But the more drifters have started to show onboard, I show a lot of Katra footage, a lot of Austin, Sam, because it's very easy to get onboards of Katras because of Portis, by the way. So the world needs to understand that spinning is an art. That's what I really realized. There's so much art within it. There's so much. I've seen more happiness at spin events than drift events.
Yeah, look, the whole principle is the weaker the car, the harder it is to spin.
The weaker the car is to spin. Yeah.
Look, give me a 2.9, a child can spin a 2.9.
Yeah, they just.
Yeah, you understand. But then put them in like a 2.5 airflow. It requires skill. It requires a lot of other things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thank you very much for popping in.
No problem at all, man.
We look forward to shooting a load more episodes with you.
100%.
We need to discuss a lot more spinning content. We need to discuss a lot more drifting content.
Yes.
We need to discuss motorsport as a whole. Right, there's a lot that we need to talk about when it comes to motorsport as a whole. So
Yeah,
look
man.
forward to seeing you on the next episode.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity, guys. There's so much that I want to help spinners get, because in drifting I have more than 300,000 followers. I have a lot of followers just sitting here. In spinning I have, how many do I have? More than 200,000 followers. So with all this reach, I feel like with your guidance and this reach I have and just more exposure to more people, we could actually help the sport get to somewhere new. It sounds like it's a big dream, but dream start as words, dream start as thoughts. Give it some time. There could be something very special to come out of this.
All right, so just before you go, we need to go check out 2 very exceptional cars.
Okay.
And just speak about those cars, see how those cars
Phantom, 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 phantom,
More special 325 IS stuff chilling there.
Oh, I can
back.
see. Just relaxed there next to the
Yeah,
G-Wagon.
yeah.
The value is now the same, right? How much is the G-Wagon in 325 5S, the price difference?
I never look at G-Wagons, man. Never ever look at G-Wagons, but I'd like to presume, look, an IS is a much better investment because
2 million.
yeah,
And it's still going up.
You're not gonna get depreciation that much. So here I think we've got a 745. It would be a 745. This is one of the special motorsport editions, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to believe we've got an E9 right there at the top. We've got another
Just go,
325 IS.
What's your step?
Yeah, man. So there's a lot of very beautiful cars, beautiful work that these guys do. Please like and follow them. Their page at M-Town Customs on Instagram. Details will be at the bottom of the page. All right, so Muza,
Yes. Lead me.
yeah, look at what we have here. V10 M5. I think these cars came out around 2005.
2005.
First V10 normally aspirated motor that BMW ever did. I think
That's the first one.
yeah, the first one, first and only. BMW hasn't done another V10 ever since then. Okay, it's this and the M6, but 5 and 6 are basically one car, right? So this car is about a 373 kilowatts, if I'm not mistaken. This is just off the top of my head.
Horsepower, how much is that? Just to convert it for the people.
Oh.
About 5, right? About 5,
I
10,
never
520.
read. I never read things in horsepower because I feel like horsepower is. You read things in horsepower when your car's not making enough power. So this car is sitting on KW V3 coilovers with just a custom Valvetronic exhaust. Basically, the car is almost stock standard, but and obviously a software tune, I think, for the exhaust. This sits as one of my favorite cars of all time. If anybody knows, nothing sounds quite like a V10 M5. Beautiful, beautiful cars. And next to it, we've got yet another V10. Now there's a bit of history. This is a Lamborghini Gallardo E-Gear V10. The Lamborghini Gallardo E-Gear V10 came out around the same time as well. It's also pushing in the late 300s in terms of kilowatts. There's obviously a bit of work done to this car, as you can see. The car's got
It's a wrap.
a full-on custom wrap, very beautiful wrap, if I might say. Bipolar GP, very, very beautiful wrap. Now, the reason why I think I had these two cars sit together is both these cars are V10, right? Which means the tone is excellent, it's amazing, right? Beautiful, beautiful tone. These cars make almost the same amount of power, right? But these cars appeal to two totally different markets. To a lot of people, this is, I think, the first Lamborghini that Lamborghini themselves didn't make independently, right? So this car was built in conjunction with Audi, if I'm not mistaken, with Audi. And they basically took the underpinnings of an R8 in order to make this beautiful car that you have over here.
Oh, the R8.
Yeah. So this is an R8.
That explains the sound similarities. It's a large. I thought it was just me, but yes.
So this and an R8 are pretty much one and the same thing. So the reason I have these two cars next to each other are these cars, I think, perform roughly around the same.
Quarter mile. Who'd take it here for the fans at home?
Because I'm BMW biased,
Here we go.
I'd say the M5 if I'm driving the M5.
Okay.
But honestly, I think it's a neck on neck thing. It boils down so much to driver capability. But between these two exact cars that we have here, I think this car's got more of a tune than this car does. right? A lot more has been done performance-wise to this car.
But out of the factory,
Out of the factory, I'd say neck on neck still. But now the good thing, the reason, okay, which one would you choose out of the two vehicles?
it depends on the purpose, guys.
No. Like right now, you need to buy a car, you need to buy a V10. What are you taking between the two?
I'm a very technical people. I'm gonna ask people around issues they've had with the car. But just from looking at them, I'm stuck between two worlds. But I love real drive cars. You
responsible-
can't do a skid in this. I take the M5.
You take the M5, right?
100%.
All right. I'm also big one on the M5 because the M5 is a very subtle car. The car looks
Beautiful.
Yeah, the car looks
Probably
very,
more
very
comfortable too, right?
very practical as well because I mean you could use this car day to day and not feel like you're driving too much of a performance car. But that does not take away from how beautiful this car is. The car is sitting on custom works wheels, 20-inch.
Say out the tire size for the viewers at home to compare to the cars at home, just that they know.
Tire size, let's see, what do we have here? 305, 25, 20.
305.
Very
25.
small profile.
305 is the width this way.
Yeah.
25 is from the rim, and then
Yeah.
20 inch,
20
right?
is- 20 is the
yeah.
diameter,
So
yes.
20 diameter, and then was it 25 for this?
Yeah, 25 is the
And
profile.
305. Some
305
people may.
width. Yeah, so
Now you know.
that's
I was
basically
just
how
like
it
you
is.
before.
That's basically how it is. But I like the wrap. I like all the work was done by M-Town Customs again, the guys that sponsored the venue for this beautiful episode. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to their work. If you've got a car that you feel like you need to get done, M-Town Customs is definitely the place to be.